Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be playing the Reservation course over in Chickasaw, Alabama. It's one of two courses being used for the City of Chickasaw Championships, which comes up on the 20th of May, I believe. So for us, that's only about a week away. Already did a practice round over at the normal, original Chickasaw course, which Dylan was featuring that for a few holes. We got rained out. I played the rest of it with Keith. Y'all saw that video. If you haven't, go back and watch it. But yeah, we're over here to play the Reservation. It's changed up a decent bit since the last time I played here. That's why I brought Dylan with me, because he can kind of show me around and kind of show me where they made some tweaks. And another thing I wanted to say is thank all of you, because we actually surpassed 900 subscribers on the last video that I put out. So we're on the way to 1,000, which is awesome. I've only been doing the YouTube channel for about a year and a half. And so to get to near 1,000 that quick is pretty awesome. So keep supporting, thumbing up, subscribing, commenting, all that jazz. I also put Dylan's socials down below. He's putting out content. And yeah, let's get into it. All right, so we are on hole 1, which is a brand new hole to the course since the last time I did a video here. It kind of plays roughly to where old hole 17's basket used to be, but now you play from the opposite side instead of in that corner. That basket you see way in the background is actually hole 18's basket, which is, I believe, old hole 16 on the original layout. It's only about 300 feet ahead, and so essentially, I think the most open route is the left to right moving shot, where you can go around the tree and try to skip towards the basket. You can also go under it and skip towards the basket. You also have the low right skip shot, where you kind of just fit it between the two trees here on your right-hand side and try to skip it up there. Or you can go over the top, but that requires a little more distance. Turns a 300-foot shot into maybe more of like a 325, 330-foot shot if you're trying to go over the top. And yeah, so me and Dylan are just gonna throw a couple of shots here, see what we think's good. Try to go with the low right side first. I do think the left side's probably the more open side, but I don't know. It's a little short. Good angle. I just didn't get on edge. All right, time for the forehands. A little headwind right now, not too bad though. That's a little short, and I didn't put it outside enough, but it's not bad.
I think I'm gonna throw the spike here though in the tournament.
I think for your power, the spike highs or left is like the easy approach to get the birdie. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to do anything but that. Might be deep. Yep, that's deep, but probably still circle one. All right, so this one right here on the left is where my first disc landed. That first backhand I threw under the right-hand side. One of my forehands is basically even with it, just to the right as it hyzered out a bit. Kind of deep circle too, honestly. I do think, now that I've played this hole a little bit, that the left to right shot's probably the easiest shot to make sure you give yourself at least a guaranteed par. If you try to play the right-hand side and you play it low, you can easily get caught up and make your approach shot really tricky. Unless you go over the top on the right-hand side, I don't think it's worth it. So I'm probably gonna play the left-hand side, probably gonna play a forehand. I just think it's the easier shot to replicate, and just gotta hope that I throw it right and get it to stable out. All right, so now we're at hole 2, which is essentially old hole 18 on the course. Basket is about 560 away. Plays as a par 4. Really just want to get through this gap, stay away from that ditch on the left-hand side, put yourself in a good position to approach and grab your birdie. So for me, unless it's like a crazy headwind, probably gonna be some type of forehand I try to throw through the left side of the gap and go from there. I didn't quite flex that one as much as I wanted to, but it's still not bad.
If it's a little windy like this in tournament, I'm just gonna throw the spike over this tree.
Yeah, I'm hoping this weather is not gonna screw us. The radar didn't show anything, but seeing these dark clouds forming. That's definitely not on camera. But that will be when it lands. Oh, maybe that's what I want.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful forehand for me. Take that all day. Little up the middle emperor there. Yeah, I mean, dumping right's really not a big deal. It still sets you up for the left to right moving shot to approach the basket. All right, so my first shot I just had to pitch up. I was actually inside of a tree, so I didn't even really have a way to like show you the shot. But this is where my second tee shot landed, which is ideally where I'd like to be. And right now I essentially just have a forehand into the basket. All right, so now we're at hole 3, which is actually kind of an old hole that got used on one of the original reservation layouts. I think it was like old hole 2 or 3 or something like that. It has been backed up though, the tee. Used to only be like maybe a 275 foot shot, now it's somewhere between 300 and 325. Ditch to the right probably plays as OB. So really you can kind of play any number of shots on this hole. I mean, it's kind of straight out in front of you. It just depends on if you want to play a left to right moving shot, which kind of brings the ditch into risk, or if you want to try to throw something over the ditch and have it hyzer back. So yeah, I don't know.
I'm just gonna throw a split style on that.
I think that makes a perfect sense for you. That's a great shot. Maybe a little bit too much hyzer. That's still edge of circle 1, and it made the distance. I don't know what I want to do here. Might just throw like something kind of straight. I used to throw forehand whenever it used to be more of like a left or right shot, but now since we're backed up, it's kind of more straight on. I don't know if that's going to be OB or not over there. I know the ditch itself is OB, like OB River. I don't know if the right side of the ditch, though, is clean. Dylan's so good he can just throw putters, you know, right at the basket. Oh, my Lord.
Ooh, almost ace.
I mean, that was child's tracking for sure.
I like that shot you threw. Just
yeah, I liked it too, but it wasn't it. Try this new sword I found. It's actually really sick. Stamped and like somebody spin dyed it. It's like really poppy though, so it's actually kind of stable for a sword. Mine hyzer out too much on me. Yeah, I think it's
that's a pretty stable sword.
God, oh.
We'll throw this one same way.
Oh boy. Well.
No, that's all right.
Oh. Edge of circle on the right. All right, so now we're on hole 4. One hole 4. Same as old hole 3, pretty much. It's about 370, straight ahead. Kind of out of my range, so I just try to play something dead straight up the fairway and then just pitch up and grab my par. I feel like we really should move this tee to the left. I'm just scared of hitting that shit up the right hand side. Yeah. That's fine though, I can pitch up and down from there. Yeah, this is just not a good tee location. We're like right next to these people's backyards. I'm gonna have to see about asking about maybe moving this more to the left just to get away from it. It would be more of a dead straight shot, which makes the angle a little bit easier, but not by much.
Well, we just don't want to hit nobody's car.
Exactly, and it's, you know, we're recording this on Mother's Day actually, so I'm sure there's families hanging out and whatnot. So we're gonna kind of skip this hole, not really play it. Honestly, it's not worth the risk of hitting somebody's stuff. All right, so now we're on hole 5, I guess, of the layout. Kind of a different tee position, but a similar hole to the past. You just got to try to get into those woods there on the left-hand side, so you can either play kind of right up the gut left side of the tree, or you can try to play right side of the tree through that little hole and try to skip something up there. So that's really kind of your options. Unfortunately, I don't have like the best camera angle for this hole, so this might not look that great, but we'll try our best. I've not played this tee position before. It used to be like more right, and you would like have like more of a straight tunnel shot, or you could play like a wide spike hyzer in. Now it like forces you to hit one of 2 gaps. Definitely made the hole harder. Pitch up from there, get my 3.
That's pretty good.
So here's like the mouth of the green that we were kind of aiming for through the left or right gap. You can kind of see the basket tucked in behind that tree. It's going to be a really hard hole to park. I think just getting to the mouth of the green and giving yourself like a jump putt from circle 2 is still a really good look. But just getting out into this open space to the right-hand side and then pitching up and grabbing your par is probably the smart play. That's probably what I'm gonna try to do. But if you have like a really good shot, you might be able to skip something up there. All right, and so now we are at hole 6. This will look very familiar. Same hole as it's always been, 300 feet straight ahead. Kind of a interesting green surrounded by trees, but I will say if you can get to the left side, or if you get deep, there's some openings you can kind of putt through. If you're right side, you really got nothing. So it's really more about being as center cut as you can be. The miss is definitely left or deep. So yeah, that's what we're looking at here. Probably for me, gonna be some kind of forehand wide left and try to have it come back in. That's really my best play probably. I'll get down on putt. He's on that left side.
Yeah, great shot.
All right, so now we're at hole 7, wide open, grip it and rip it, basically. It's 450 feet, slightly uphill, so probably plays a little closer to like 460 or so. For me, I'm just throwing it as far as I can and hopefully giving myself an easy up and down for par. This is one of those holes that not really reachable for AMs as a par 3. But in that case, I just worry about getting my par. All Gucci. Nice 280. That might be it. Oh, I needed a little more.
That's all right.
If you would have pulled it over a little, I mean, that's still circle 2. But if you would have pulled it over like a little more, that would have been it, I think. All right, so I got about 330 off the tee on my first tee shot, and then the other tee shot was roughly the same distance, just a little more on the left, like actually more center cut of the fairway, but still got about 160 feet into the basket from where I'm at. Dylan, of course, was pretty much pin high on a lot of his shots. They were just off to the left and right, but still, you know, pretty easy to grab. Shouldn't have had too much trouble dealing with it. Just gonna throw a couple of forehands for practice. A little deep. That should be perfect. It's also good. All right, so now we're at hole 8, about 300 feet again. It's kind of the magic number at this course. So like almost all the par 3s I feel like are 300 feet, or they're super long. Essentially, the basket is up ahead to the left. It's kind of tucked behind some tree branches, so you can't really see it too well. But basically, the main shot is to throw it towards that white truck to the right, underneath the tree, and try to skip it up there. It's pretty much the play. Just got to keep it low and skip it left. A little inside, but not bad. That's fine, actually. I thought you were a little inside for a second, but it turned out to skip nice for you.
Under. Yep.
Short, but not bad.
All
right, so now we're at hole 9. Tunnel shot, dog leg right when you get to the end of the tunnel. Essentially, this first stretch of tunnel is roughly 285, 300 feet. Then you need to travel right.
This is eagleable too.
Yeah. For Dylan, if he throws like a good hyzer flip backhand as a lefty, he could definitely get up to the green and look for a putt for eagle. For a right-handed player, it'd be kind of some kind of like either hyzer flip forehand or flex forehand.
Yeah, or like a super flippy.
Or yeah, I mean like a backhand turnover could do it, but I think it's a little tougher. That's good. It's gonna get skip left. Oh wow, dead skip.
Okay.
I'm actually kind of torn on this hole. I used to throw forehand to actually try to like get it to the corner and actually get a little bit to the right. But what I've actually come to find, if I'm just gonna play it for birdie, a straight shot that fades a little less, not even bad because there's a fence there as long as you don't throw it too high that you can kind of bounce off of and it'll kind of kick you back to the center of the fairway. So honestly, I think sometimes people, if they're trying to just play the hole, conservatively, I think maybe overestimate how much you need to move the disc to the right-hand side off the tee, and really something that's just straight is totally fine, I think. That's my personal opinion. It may or may not be right. See, that's basically what I just did. I threw it dead straight, faded a little bit left, I hit the fence, and I could probably straddle out from there and throw something up to the basket. At least taking a par doing that. All right, so here's the corner. You can see the basket there to your right. My throw is over there to the left. And this fence is actually barbed wire. So the other cool thing about it is if you get next to the fence off the tee, you get 2 meters because it's a barbed wire fence instead of a normal fence. So that's even more of a reason, I think, why it's a little bit smarter to just throw something straight, maybe fade left into the fence.
Is that good? That's...
Yeah. I don't know if you needed an answer anymore after you heard that.
It hit the pole or the cage?
It hit the cage. It got caught on video. You'll see it. Almost a throwing eagle.
There you go. That's a birdie.
Yep.
That's a birdie still.
Yep. All right, so now we're on hole number 10. It's about 340 feet. It's kind of hard to see with like all the sunlight and stuff like that, but it's basically dead straight ahead. I'll try to zoom in. You can see the basket up there on the hill. There's a ditch right in front of the red tee post that you see there. And then that ditch runs all along the right-hand side of the fairway, and then it curls back left in front of the face of the hill where the basket is, probably what, like 60, 70 short of the basket. So basically, if you're trying to attack this hole, it's really hard. Like you have to throw like a bullet laser line 340 feet, have the height stay perfect because it's low ceiling to get over the ditch and actually get into the putting green. Otherwise, the other play on this hole, and it's the one that I do, is I just try to get past the first portion of the ditch where the red stake is, and then kind of hyzer off to the left a little bit and set myself up for an approach shot for par. I don't really mess with this hole very much. We're gonna wait for these people to get out the way. Apparently they like riding their bikes in water. I mean, you know, you do you're a kid. And yeah, we'll be back after a short, we'll break here. You're not gonna see it, but we're gonna have to wait a minute.
Dang, that was gonna good too, I think.
That had the speed to be really good. Just happened to catch some of them branches before the ditch. Yep, that's okay.
I don't know if I can see on camera, but there's some little kids down there, like literally in the fairway.
Yeah, a little distracting, but basically conservative play, hit the first gap, fade left, approach the basket, aggressive play, try to go for it, very tough. This is hole 11, 245, kind of right or left, super safe play. That's my main play, actually. It's just going left side, kind of forfeiting it. That's good. Ooh, skip in. So yeah, this is further up the fairway. You can see this right-hand side, just kind of a tight tunnel. But you can also go that left side of the group of trees with the forehand if you're a right-handed player. Probably takes birdie out of the question unless you get some good skips, but it kind of guarantees you a par, and it's an easier gap to hit as opposed to staying in this tunnel. So it's kind of risk versus reward. All right, so here's what the left-hand side looks like. Like I said, it's just way more open to the basket. So if you can get a forehand out into this open space, or really any shot of your choosing out into this space, you're pretty much guaranteed to grab yourself a par at worst. And if you get enough distance and skips, my forehand actually landed in jump punt range. If I could have got like a little bit more forward push, a couple more skips, I might have been able to get circle one. So again, it's just up to you. Going up the right-hand side is the most direct way to give yourself the best chance for birdie, but it's also the tightest lane.
2 and 3 of mine were parked, so.
Yeah, so definitely, if you have the accuracy, playing up the right-hand side gives you the best chance to birdie, but if you feel a little shaky, taking this left open side kind of guarantees your par. All right, so now we're at hole 12. It's just over 300 feet, dead straight ahead. It's wide open until you get to the tunnel, which is about 200 feet up the fairway, and then it becomes a really low ceiling. So the first 200 feet, pretty easy to clear, but that last 100 feat, green can get really tricky with that low ceiling, and there's just a lot of trees that also just kind of serve as guardian trees, just generally around the basket.
I'm gonna throw 2 just to see. I'm gonna get a low side orb and a high turnover, see what works out best for me. Well, if I throw it in there, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I try to play something either dead straight at it, or I might try something a little bit wide right and kind of hyzer it into the gap. But yeah, it's a tough hole.
Yeah, I just gonna have a putt to that tree over there.
Yeah, I mean, I did the first 200 feet perfect. I just got a little bit more fade than I needed, so I'm on that left side. Kind of did the same thing as me, but just forehand form. All right, so now we're at the mouth after that first 200-foot stretch of the fairway, and just kind of just shows you how tricky this green can get. You got this big guardian tree right dead center. Right-hand side also, a lot of little trees and branches that you can get caught up on. This is where my first tee shot landed, over here to the left. Kind of got caught with this little down like log. But as you can see on this left-hand side, I still don't really have much of a putt. And there's like a little small window there, like with the slanted tree and the little skinny one just to the right of it, that I can maybe punch a putt through, but for the most part, this left side's pretty guarded. You really have to push it even more straight. Get somewhere like here, and even then you still have a tree to contend with. So it's a really tricky green, even if you throw a really good shot. If you're on this left-hand side, there's a lot of things that are going to obstruct your putt. Being more on the right-hand side of the fairway, if you're able to, you know, be closer to this big guardian tree, you have a little bit better chance to have a clean putt. So yeah, it just depends. All right, so now we're on hole 13, 275. Kind of dead straight ahead, slight tunnel. Got some woods on your left, woods on your right. Really, as a right-handed player, you can just throw a straight backhand as straight as you can. Just don't fade too much left, and you'll be able to get up there and give yourself a putt. Forehand also works really nice here for right-handed players. You kind of flex one out left and have it fight back. For lefties, opposite of what I said.
I'm gonna try to do what Dustin said.
Huh?
I'm gonna try to do what you said. Something straight and finish.
Oh, that's good. Oh, if it didn't clip those branches, bro. I still parked, but. That is pretty good. All right, so now we're at hole 14, 325, kind of dead straight ahead. Really just sets up nicely for a backhand hyzer if you're a right-handed player. Or for a lefty, it's a little more tricky. Forehand's probably the best if you got it. This is kind of like right at my distance range, so I might be able to get it, but I might also come up short and just have to take a par. Didn't fight back at all. Just kind of kept going to the right, so not it. A little too much hyzer. That's close to pin high.
Looks wider.
Just came down too heavy. No skips. All right, so now we are on hole 15, 465 feet. It's very similar to hole 8 as far as it just being kind of a wide open crusher. Just grip it and rip it, which I can't get in birdie range on this hole. It's a longer par 3, so kind of like hole 8. I just make sure I throw a nice shot that gets, 300, 325 feet up the fairway, give myself an approach shot. For bigger arms, definitely, attackable for birdie, for pros. Yeah, for me, I'm just going to throw just a nice straight shot. Nice little easy 300 feet or so, and just have a little less than 200 foot up shot in. Now that's a good shot from Dylan. That's going places. That's there. Get in. Oh, son, that's deep. My man just threw like almost a 500 foot shot right there. Dang.
I got there so fast.
All right, so now we're at hole 16. Same as old hole 14. Par 4, dog leg left. Just need to throw it to the right of this big tree to the left of the tee pad. Keep it low, stay under the ceiling. Ride left. Then go from there. Good shot there from Dylan. That's all you really need.
Go. Yeah.
That's a little more inside than I wanted, if I'm honest, but it's still not bad. I kind of want to hang it a little wider than that. Throw a couple more real quick, because I don't know if I'll get back out here before the tournament, honestly. That's it. That's more the play I'm looking for. All right, so here's kind of what the hole looks like once you get around the corner. I said it went in a little too inside, so my approach shot's actually kind of tough. The further down the hill you get to the right, where Dylan is, which I'll go show you in a second, you have a little bit more of like an open hyzer look for the right-handed backhand. But I guess I'll try to force a forehand through here, see if I can do something magical, but it's tough. So see, if you push further forward than I did, you get down to a flat area instead of on the slope, and then you kind of have either a straight shot at the basket or a big right to left moving shot to the basket, like just some kind of crazy spike hyzer deal. So definitely want to try to push forward more. boy, that's unlucky. All right, so now we're at hole 17, just the old hole 15, but backed up a little bit, I think, than the original version. It used to be like a little bit shorter of a shot. Now it's 325, excuse me, just right there inside the fence, dead straight ahead. Yeah, just 30 straight a shot. A little short, but it might skip up. Not sure. That might be like circle 2. There she goes. Maybe a little too overstable, but got up there. That's the right line, just with the less stable disc. So, as long as I can throw something dead straight. The only thing I can really do wrong is like yank it over right and get into those woods on the right-hand side.
Yeah, Dustin showing you how to play the hole.
All right, so now we're on hole 18. It's just old 16. It's just a left to right moving shot. Basket's tucked into the right over there, next to the woods. Can't really see it because it's kind of an uphill shot. So I'll lift you up. There you go. It's not really a blind shot from the tee. I just don't really have a good place to put the camera to show you, but there you go.
That's a putt. We go with a spike eyes and a Raptor. We're not so bad because I just had never missed a hole before. Won't be missing it now.
Just get right in front of the face of the basket, pretty much. All right, folks, well, that's going to do it for this practice round here at the reservation as we prepare for the City of Chickasaw Championship. Definitely one of the more open courses, I guess, in the area. There's a couple of wooded shots, but a little bit more wide open in comparison to some of the wooded courses that we're known for around here. But it's also unique in that there's some like elevation change that we don't really get at a lot of courses, besides like maybe Hobbit and like maybe a handful of shots in a couple other places. But definitely a good course. It's a great second course in Chickasaw, Alabama. If you haven't played it before, definitely come play it. Cecil and everybody, the school board, did a great job, you know, putting in brand new baskets pretty quick. And I know tee pads are on the horizon here in the next few months. And yeah, just a fun course to play. For me, it's a little tougher just because a lot of the holes are long. So a lot of holes I have to kind of concede the par, but it's still a lot of fun to play. And I think it's one of the better courses we have in the area. I think this course is actually really underrated in comparison to some of the other courses in Mobile. Yeah. Obviously, Admiral kind of reigns king. But honestly, Reservation, I'll put it top 3.
This is my favorite course to play. I mean, the Admiral's a better course, but just to come play a casual round, like I'm picking this course over the Admiral every day.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me it's like a little bit of a drive, so like I always just kind of go to Langen or South because that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, I think it's a top 3 course in the area, honestly, for sure. And definitely be on the lookout for future content. Like I said, I'll be playing the City of Chickasaw tournament coming up, so I'll have that tournament footage coming out within the week or so. I'll have this video coming out, and again, thanks to all people who subscribed. It's cool to break 900 onto 1,000 now, hopefully. Follow my man up here on socials. I'll put him down below on his Instagram. He's also doing some content with a couple other friends of his that I'll help share. Like Oliver Richardson just started his channel up, so show him some love. And yeah, see you next time.
See you.